Good morning, everyone. Namaste. Welcome to Holistic Conversations. I would like to wish everyone a very happy Valentine's Day, although it was yesterday. But for me, every day is a Valentine's Day. And since I work with children, I celebrate Valentine's Day every day with them. So I'm very happy that we have a teacher with us, and she's a podcaster, author, and a Reiki Master Teacher, and so many other things that we are going to learn about her today. I'm really excited and looking forward to talking with her. So let's just get started and let's see how's it going. Okay. I welcome you to my podcast, Holistic Conversations, with your host, Mamina Das. Join me in my journey, in all of our journey, because we are all unique and we are the universe. Welcome to Holistic Conversations. Okay, here we are.
That's enough for you, dear. How are you?
Thank you so much. I'm good. I'm happy. And
Great.
I welcome you to Holistic Conversations. Namaste,
Oh, thank you.
Rosemary.
Namaste. Love to be here, and I appreciate you doing this with me. So that's awesome.
I read your message that you left for me in Instagram. And I really posted that let's light up together.
There you go. Let's light up the world. We need to do this now more than ever.
By the way, uh, the dress coordination, we didn't talk to each other,
Uh,
but we are wearing.
it's so funny. I had a red thing on before. I said, I'm not feeling red. I usually don't wear red. I said, I feel very green and naturey today. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing. And I also want to say that I love your name.
Oh,
Because it is a herb, it is a healing
yes,
herb,
it is.
and you have rose in your name. What can be
I
more beautiful than that? Oh
So
my God!
I love roses too. You can see I have roses everywhere as well because that's kind of my thing as well. I love the scent and the whole essence of it. It's just beautiful.
Same here. I love roses from my childhood. That has been my favorite flower. Every time I'm
Me
like
too.
feeling down or anything, I
There you
need
go.
rose.
Rose oil is also the highest frequency essential oil. And the word rosemary means remembrance. And I feel like I help people remember, who they are, what their path is. So, yes.
That's so interesting because lately I also am thinking about so many things that we should not be forgetting everything. We should not be forgetting everything. Not at least the good memories, like the
That's
childhood
right.
memories, like
That's
so
right.
that we can look back and that brings a smile to us, and
It
then it
does.
gives so much of energy to enjoy and be joyful like a child, those moments,
Absolutely. Yes.
so yay, I have
Yes,
someone
I
who
love it.
told that you remembrance.
I'm a kid at heart, so that's why I taught for so many years because I love children, and I just love the way that they view the world with very unfiltered expression. They'll tell you how it is, and they don't care, and it's just a beauty of the soul that they have. So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, I spent a lot of time with kids.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So let's get going and let's learn something about you. How about we?
Sure,
I want
sure.
to ask you something.
Yeah.
I would really like to know something about your childhood so that
Mhm.
you can also
Sure.
tell that how you are reliving your childhood now.
Yes.
Is it
Okay.
still present in your life?
It
Have you?
is. It
Oh, let's
is.
let's listen about
Okay,
that.
so I grew up in a very small town. One of my sisters passed when I was really young, so I have an older sister that I'm close to, and then there was just the two girls then that my parents raised. My father, big, loving, light up the room kind of man, very funny. My mom, very schooled, intelligent, very strong woman that kept the family together, and so it was beautiful. We had a lot of time outdoors, and I always say that my generation is the last free generation because we were out, like the light came out, we were riding bikes outside. We came in when it was dark out, our parents didn't text. We didn't have texts or anything like that. So it's like they'd yell out the window, dinner, and you'd come running. I spent a lot of time up a tree, in a brook. I love nature. I love getting my hands in the dirt. So my love of organic gardening started when I was a kid, and just really a connection with nature and the earth started really early for me. And I was quiet as a child. I loved to write poetry when I was little. And I had a very close circle of friends that I trusted, and we shared things. But other than that, it was a beautiful memory to grow up in a small town and just have nature around you all the time. So yeah, so I'm a small town again over here in New Jersey. Love it.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's nice to know that our childhood was so different, and
Mhm.
we were so close to the nature when we grew up.
Yes.
Nobody stopped us. Like, oh, don't
No.
touch that. You have to
Right.
wash your hands. Keep
Yes.
your hands clean. Keep your clothes clean.
Yes.
Don't step in there.
Yes.
That was such a freedom. Like
It
to
was.
explore. Yeah, yeah, it
Yeah.
was amazing.
Yes, and I bring that joy. Like I have grandkids, so when I see them, it brings that joy back of like raising my own son, and me being a kid, and stepping in that puddle, and yeah, it's just so cool. It's fun.
Yes, it is. It is indeed fun. And nowadays things have changed. I mean, you must have
Yes,
experienced the change,
yes,
the way we
everything.
parent and everything. You have been a
Yeah,
teacher for 35 years, if I'm
32,
right. 30,
32 years
32,
with
32 years.
kids, with kids. Yes.
Whatever, after 30, you can just go anywhere.
Well, it's kind of like your birthday. After a while, you don't want to stay. But yeah, I had
Yeah.
32 full-time years in education. And
Wow, wow.
I loved it. I left in 2014. I was simultaneously doing my business since 2000. So I had a long run with doing both, and I'm still doing my business now since 2000. So it's been a long haul, and it's been great. I have steady customers, and people find me. Excuse me. Yeah.
Absolutely. They get that aroma of rosemary. Oh my God.
Yeah, hopefully I light people up a little bit when they come in, but no one wants to leave my office when they come in for a workshop, or, they like, "Can I hug you before I leave?" Sure. But hopefully, my mission in life is to bring people back to their joyfulness, their faith, whatever that is. And I've worked with people of all backgrounds and faiths, including people that told me they had no faith. And then after they met me and I did a reading with them, they're like, "Okay, there's something here." So it's been fun and a very rewarding, time working with people.
Yeah, that's good to hear that people who don't have faith, they have discovered faith, and it is not at all a very blocked state where we only relate to religion. No, it's not that.
Yes,
It's
yes,
not that. It's like you have to experience faith. You have to really
yeah.
experience.
I think it's that hopefulness and that joy and the light, and I always tell people, even though there's lots of world religions and different beliefs, the core of it is like compassion, love, and togetherness with all cultures, all people, all colors, doesn't matter. To me, that's the core of what religion is supposed to be doing, is uniting people, not pulling them apart because we're different, or we have a different belief, or I don't like what you like. It doesn't matter. It's all that core of like we love each other, we're spreading this joy and love, and we're all connected by soul, no matter who you are, where you are in the world. We're all connected. And I think that's the message all of us light workers are trying to get out, is that you've got to stop chopping people up into pieces and putting us together, put us together as one humanity, and let's just go from there, you know?
Yeah, that's such a broad vision, and
Yeah.
it's really vast. I mean, it's a good place to hold people and accommodate and see them, hear them, I feel
Yes.
like you have just opened your heart like to people.
Absolutely. Of course. Yes.
Yeah. So now coming to your story, like you said, you have started your business since 2000.
Yes.
How did this journey started? Like you were a teacher, and how
Yes.
how you.
So I'm one of these people that ever since I was really young, people would tell me their life story. They sit down, they tell me their secrets. So people always kind of trusted me, even really young. People come to me for advice. I was like 9 years old, and people are coming to me saying, "What would you do?" So I always knew that I was here before. I also had a very clear vision at the age of 2 or 3 that I was here before. And I remember looking up at this tall table, and my mother was speaking to me as if I was a child. And I'm looking at her saying, "Why is she talking to me like I'm a child?" And then I said, "Oh, I'm back again." And I looked down and I saw my body like in a white caftan. And I knew I lived in India at one lifetime. And I had these other places as well. A lot of spontaneous recalls of who I was through my life. And then I knew that I came in as a peacemaker and to help other people. And I knew this really, really from a really young age. So eventually, when I was an adult working with kids, I did that for so long. And I kept getting dreams that there's more for me to do. I should be working with adults. I should be doing something. And I didn't know what it was. So I went for a master's degree in education. And the last class that I took was called Stress Management for Kids. And what happened was we had a day of silence where we walked around campus and we couldn't talk to people. I came back, I started seeing auras. And that's the energy field around the body that has color. So I said, well, if I can do this, what else can I do? So I sat by my computer and I channeled my first angel communication with Ariel. And then I'm like, all right, what else should I be doing? So I learned Reiki, which is an energy healing art that's practiced right now all over the world, but it came out of Japan. And then I said, you know what? I think I need to start a business. So I just kind of jumped right in. My husband's like, what are you doing? You're working full time. I'm like, no, I'm called. I have to do this. So I had rooms behind my home. I have a couple extra rooms above a detached building. And I said, this is my office. So I started painting walls and getting it ready. And then from then, I started getting people that would come in for energy work. And that's kind of where I began. So I was channeling since 93, doing Reiki since 1997. And then people were asking me for readings and they were asking me to train them with Reiki, which I began doing once I was at master level. So, yeah, so it's been really a great way to work with adults as well as young people through my life, because I think that's really why I was here, why I'm born here. I'm a helper and just kind of a guidepost for people.
Wow, wow, that's amazing. Amazing to hear when people talk about their dreams.
Yeah.
My life has unfolded in my dreams. I must have to say that.
Oh,
Oh my
yes,
God. My dreams have opened doors to my life, like
yes,
because I have never really planned my life that I'm going to do this or I'm going to
yes,
do that.
yes.
It's like,
It unfolds.
yay, I see something in my dream. Yay, I got it
Yes.
now. Now
Yeah,
I
that's
know what I
exactly
want.
it. Well, that's because you're so in tune with your intuition, and that's really how I live my life as well, is like, I feel the intuition in my body and in my dreams and in my inclinations, and then I sit with it and see if it feels right, and that would be the next decision that I make. Yeah,
That's
so you're probably
amazing.
you're doing that intuitively as well through your dreaming. That's so cool.
Yes, yes. It's very difficult for me to uh, sit and discuss with a human being about what I want. I
Yes.
have never done that. I've never done
Yes.
that.
I don't make goals. I hate those goals when they say, "What's your 5-year plan?" Like, I don't know. When I get there, I'm gonna feel it and I'll know.
Yeah, yeah.
I
So,
understand.
my dream is my everything. Is my everything. Like,
It's your everything.
yeah, it's my everything. So I'm very happy that I get good sleep.
Yes, yes, lucky you. That's a wonderful thing. Yeah.
I get good sleep, I get good dreams, and my doors open in my dream, and then I step into.
That's beautiful. I always kid, my friends too. I say, sometimes when I get those darn school dreams, I know it's going to be a life lesson coming up. And it depends like what level I'm at. So last night I was in college again. I'm like, all right, what else is there? And I had to go talk to the professor about something or other, but I woke up. Yeah.
That's really amazing. I mean, yes, there are so many different kind of dreams, and
Mhm.
uh, we have to be cautious, like to
Mhm.
not to just analyze.
Oh, yeah, and I
Like, yeah,
think
I mean,
they're so different for all of us, right? Like, when
yes,
you have
yes.
a dream a dream symbol, like, I dreamt like, last year or year before, I was pregnant. Now, there's no way I'm pregnant, right? But pregnancy means you're developing a new skill or there's a new birth of something that you're coming up with. But for each person, it's different. If I was in my 30s and I dreamed I was pregnant, I might actually be getting pregnant, you know? I mean, it's what it is for each person. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's right.
yeah, it's interesting.
It's very interesting that you brought this topic.
Uh-huh.
I don't want to share it now here, but maybe
Okay.
after I'm going to
Sure.
share my dream, what I dreamt about.
Beautiful.
And I think you whatever you said, like it's something new or something.
Yes.
We will talk about that later.
Yes.
But I was so amazed with that dream, like it unfolded in like an hour or something, and then when I get
Uh-huh.
up, I'm like, really? Oh
Yeah.
my God, is this
Yeah.
coming up in my life? I'm so happy about it.
Yes. Yes. That's so cool. Hmm.
Wow, nice. As far as I understand, you are very much about uh, listening to your calling, like,
Yes.
and you
Yes.
totally, that's so concrete with you, that relation of
Yeah.
uh, that listening, that thing,
Mhm.
like, and you said that since your childhood you have known that you are going to do this, and
Yeah.
what a wonderful unfolding of life and manifestation of things, like you have
Yes.
been seeing this in your childhood, and see now you are living that. So
Yes.
that's just amazing. I'm amazed.
Yeah.
I'm very happy that we are doing this today.
Thank you. And it's really strange because I think a lot of it, you take leaps of faith in life. Sometimes, like, I was very shy as a child until I was like 23. And one of the things that got me over being so shy was I wanted to be a teacher. And one of the classes that I took for college, they photograph you doing a talk. And I knew I was terrified, but when you videotape me, like, in front of the group, no one can tell. So then I was like, "Oh, if no one can tell, then I'm just gonna pretend I'm confident." And then after that, the shyness went, and I was able to bring that in to teach kids, because if you're not confident with kids, they'll eat you alive, They can tell right away, if you're gonna back off or if you're scared of them. So it kinda helped me to develop a confidence that now it's just me, but I was very quiet as a child. So that brought it that gift. And then I always knew I was meant to teach and to help. No matter what it was in life, I always found myself in the position of wanting to help people in some way. And in the spiritual realm, it's always called me that you just to kind of shift people into like loving themselves and understanding that we're here for more, and that every single person on earth has a mission and a purpose, even if they don't know. And that's kind of where the angels have guided me, like, let people know that everybody's here for a reason. God's not mad at you. It's like all lessons. You're here to learn. You're here to transform who you are into the most light that you can bring to yourself before you go over again. So that's kind of my how I really believe. Yeah.
Wow, that's so amazing. I would also like to ask you, like, did you ever have to take validation for doing your work? Or,
Didn't mean that I need
uh,
it. So here's what happened. When I really wanted validation, when I started channeling, you don't get it. What happened was, after I took the leaps of faith and kept moving forward, even though, then I got validation like crazy. from clients I read for, from people, in my own life. So like, and then if you don't listen to that intuition, that's the time you get kicked in the tush. I've had things happen because I didn't listen when I knew I should have listened to my intuition. So we all have those moments, and of course, all of us go through different things, and no one gets like the whole picture where they can avoid these life lessons, because that's why we're here. We're here to kind of go through stuff and then learn from it and not let it stop you. So that's for everybody, not just for me, but for everyone.
Yes. And thank you so much for sharing, like the difference between listening and not listening, and recognizing that, and again coming to listening to what you were guided to. So that realization is very, very, that is the light.
Yes, yes, absolutely. I even channeled a message a couple days ago. If you want me to read it, it's short, but I'd be happy to if you want to.
Yes, please.
Okay. Excuse me. So I prayed and I tapped into my angels, and I got them they wanted me to share this. The collective mind, the universal field, encompasses all. Humankind are cells of the great spirit, God. Each resonate with light. Those in darkness are ones that light is not abounding, but no one is lost. Like-minded groups elevate the collective. It takes one candle to shine a light into a dark room. When souls join together, light shines and brings truth and light to those shadows. Make no mistake, there has been an unseen battle of forces, and it's always been there. Stay in resonance with light, compassion, and right action. Send prayers and love to those that know not what they do. This is the word, and it is good. Bring light and clarity to everyone who seeks. Those who seek shall find, knock and the door shall open. You've heard these words, and they are universal, but I was the messenger for the messenger. Now is not the time to walk in judgment. All are brethren, no matter appearance. Angels and guides walking in the light, in the unseen, help anyone who asks. Do not fool yourself in believing one soul is better than another. All are equal, and the Creator sees all. Extend a hand in brotherhood and sisterhood. No one religion holds the truth. All hold pieces. Why? The more one learns about other people's beliefs, the more you will notice similarities. Follow a path that leads to light, introspection, self-growth, forgiveness, and right action. In this, you will find the truth.
Wow, this is beautiful. So the
Yeah,
words come to you?
yeah, that's channeled. So what I do is I say a prayer, and then I ask my angels to step in, and it comes in as a really fast stream of consciousness, and then I, type it down as fast as I can.
Yeah, yeah.
So when I channel for a client, they come in, I don't have to know them. They call me, they'll say, I have these 4 questions. This is my sibling, my other, and this is the repeating pattern I keep getting. And then I channel. And by the time I actually meet with them or do a session, I probably have I have up to 10. Sometimes I'll get past life connections. I read Akashic Record field, which is the universal field of energy. I might get why they divorced or married a certain person, but it's really all about their journey. So it's not like, should I marry so and so? It's not a psychic sort of reading, but it's very related to their soul journey and what they have come here to learn and to do. So that's kind of where it is. But that's a real quick one I did a couple days ago.
Yeah, that's interesting. And it's also amazing to know that the way you explain, they don't have to know me, I don't have to know them. I mean, it's about
Yeah.
the soul that is trying to reach you more than the
Yes.
human body, more than human
Absolutely.
body.
Yes.
So that's
Yes.
the
That's the
magnetic thing
connection.
that's
Yes, and there's so many weird connections, like, between families and soul groups that come up with readings. You'll get, like, I don't know, your brother might have been your husband in another lifetime, or your sister might have been your mom, and that's why you're not getting along. She's always telling you what to do, but I get these very strange things that, I couldn't even believe, but I always kind of knew because my experience really young. I knew that your soul isn't only here for that one shot deal. We're eternal, and we keep kind of like learning in different faces and different bodies and different experiences to bring more light and understanding to us as people. And even though I was raised Roman Catholic, it's not part of my religious training or belief. it is something I always understood and internalized even very young. So I thought that was kind of interesting. So when I found out that people actually have that in their belief system, I'm like, that's cool. I always knew that, you know. Uh,
It's interesting to know that healing to me, as far as I'm able to understand how you are saying uh, about connecting with your clients, and healing is actually making us spiritual, because it is
yes,
accommodating religion. It
yes.
is diverse, it is inclusion, it is
Mhm,
it's a good place to hold people from where
mhm.
they come, how they come,
Yes,
it's like it's
yeah,
vast. I mean,
yes.
it's
And
amazing.
it's amazing, and too, sometimes healing happens on a spiritual level and not on a physical level. Like I've worked on people with very severe illnesses, and I worked on one woman who had cancer. And as I'm working on her, of course, I'm very connected with her energy field, and I'm knowing that this lady doesn't have long, but I'm not going to tell her that, of course. So, what happened was while I'm working on her, I saw like a green light on her shoulder, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's Angel Raphael. And so I was able to tell her after, "I don't know how long you have, but whatever time you have, I want you to live with joy." And I told her about the angel and the energy that I was feeling working on her. And her sister called me. She said, my sister passed, but she said in that last month, she had such joy and such happiness because you told her about the angel and she knew there was a place beyond. And she had such peace in her soul that she had no regrets when she finally left here. And that was very different than the person I brought to you. And I thought that was so beautiful to be given that opportunity. I've also worked on my father the day before he died and 3 friends the night before. And I actually knew, like, I blessed them and felt like the chakras closing, when they close up before someone leaves. And I felt it was a great honor to be able to do that, even though it was very uncomfortable I never thought I could do that, but to me, it was a great honor, to be able to help people.
Yeah, I also want to say that you are brave. uh, I'm learning a different perspective of being brave is like attempting and stepping into doing
Mhm.
what you are supposed to do,
Yes.
with having those fears and those moments of inhibitions and
Mhm.
so many other things, but you are stepping into doing what you're supposed to do.
Yes.
So that's a different definition of brave
Yeah.
courage. Yeah,
And I
yeah.
think we all have to do that to be authentically who we are, and that it is a fear, like, everyone has fear, but I always say it's false evidence appearing real. It's something that can stop you if you let it, or you can kinda go through and say, "You know what? I'm gonna put this aside. What's the worst that can happen?" So someone might judge me, someone might not resonate with who I am. That's okay. If I don't go for that person for life advice, I'm not gonna take their criticism, you know? So I just have to keep moving forward. And the same thing is like when I first wrote my book, like I have 11 published now, but the very first one that I put out there, I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is about me. What are people going to say? They're going to say I'm crazy. They're not going to like this." I'm like, "Who cares?" This is me. This is my journey. This is what I have to put out there, and it's okay because my people will be my people. The ones who aren't will not be.
That's the beauty of truth, and
Mhm.
that sometimes get bitter as well. But
Mhm.
it is what it is. It is what it is.
Yeah, absolutely. Just got to keep on
it
doing it.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm able to say this from my heart. It is what it is, um, because spirituality has given me that strength to
Mhm.
see the truth. Like it doesn't hurt anymore. It doesn't
Right.
hurt
Good.
anymore.
Good.
It just sweeps me from there, and then, like, here you go, there's a better life for you.
There you go. There you go. When all else fails, I just pray and say, "Help me out. I don't know what I'm doing." Or I feel lost or I need help and then sure enough, someone will come my way or there'll be a coincidence, through law of attraction. Someone that you need at the right time will be there for you. And I found this time and again when you surrender and know that you're not alone in the world, you're given these coincidences and these open hands of people that you'd never expect. And it's been uh, quite a wonderful experience to be able to do that for people and to have them do that for me as well. So,
Yeah, that's so nice to hear, and I like the way you are sharing it here. Is like it's not a blunt or rude confidence, but it is like it comes from a state of compassion more than anything else,
absolutely.
like experiencing people's hurt, experiencing
Hmm.
their journey. I mean, seeing them, listening to them, and still be able to work from your authentic self,
Hmm.
which is more perceived like rude, but I see that as compassion.
Yeah, and I think that's the whole thing is that when you are walking a journey on earth, our job is not to step on people along the way, but it's to extend a hand forward and backward. There's always someone who needs you to pull them up and someone that will pull you up as well. So I think when you are living your truth of what you feel in your heart and you're guided to do, you're going to take right action. So it's never about like competition. Like I hate that word competition. I'm never in competition. I mean, I've trained people who open up like down the block doing Reiki and I do Reiki. I don't consider them competition. In fact, I'll say, "Hey, here's a client. I think you'd work with them well." And I've never been competitive in life with anything. To me, it's all about the collective and the greater good. So when you're working with someone and you help them, it's out of the joy and the happiness of being able to help someone and seeing them feel good and have success. I'm not a person that would ever be envious or want anyone to feel that way about me either. So it's all about kind of helping each other. And I think that's why we're all here. Earth is hard and people go through so many things. So it's just about being present with other people and with your own truth.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Thank you for bringing that word present. That I think that solves 80% of the problem, because most of the people want to be heard. They
Yes,
just listen to
absolutely.
me. Like
Yeah.
I have worked with so many kids. They will be like, "Don't talk, just listen to me, just
Yeah.
listen."
Yes. Oh, that's great. So you work with children through trauma and grief counseling or in teaching? How do you work with kids?
And I work with autistic children, and I'm a therapist
Oh.
for them. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
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 those kids they came in on such a high spiritual frequency. I've done
yeah.
readings for some autistic kids, for
Oh,
their
wow.
parents that it requested. Those kids came in on such a high frequency that their body isn't caught up with the dense the energy of Earth. So they're highly gifted in different areas, but they can't get it out. So yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I love the way you explained about it, because you deal with energy and stuff like that. So I also feel that, because they are very much focused, they're very much focused.
Super
And
focused.
yes, but the thing is, they don't want to bring their attention to what we want them to focus in. So that's not their
Yeah.
problem completely.
Well, that's because it's not important to them, like, they have that one, like, super area that's their interest, and they're not really like, I know from being a teacher, I always had kids with disabilities in my classroom. They don't read facial expression, they don't have the social graces, they just don't know. So they have to be directly taught just to kinda mask some of the who they are so they can walk in the world with the rest of us. But yet these kids are very brilliant. I had one boy in my class who used to write this amazing spiritual poetry. He was 8, and the things he'd write was incredible. But yeah, with social ability, you could see he was very highly trained to be, like, authentic, but he'd go, "Hello, Mrs. D, how are you?" And then he'd shake my hand. So he had all the things down, but you could tell it was, like, really an effort for him to try to do what the rest of the people can do automatically, but yet he was very gifted with writing. So they
Yes,
all have
yes, they are
something that
all,
they're
they
really
all
good
have
at.
something. Yes,
Mhm.
they all have something. And it's interesting to know that um, to be able to read them, like know
Mhm.
them, like, okay, they just can be themselves.
Yes. Yeah.
We just need to teach them a little bit of social skills,
Yes.
a little bit of emotional skills, and
Yes.
they're just fine. They're just fine.
Yes. Yes. They just have to find their own way to do
Yeah.
things. So
Yeah, and
true.
also I also have learned that uh, everybody has their own way of expressing their emotions,
Yes.
and we shouldn't be compelling people to, hey, if you are grieving, you need 10 people to grieve. No, thank you. No, this is not
Yes.
applicable to all. This is not
Yes.
applicable to all.
No,
Like
it's so different.
yeah, they are different, and they're fine if they're grieving alone. Grieving is important.
Yeah.
If they are able to do it on by themselves, that's fine.
Yes.
That's fine.
Yes.
That works for them. Why would you just force a
Right.
company with them? They don't want it. They don't
That's
want it.
right. And everybody has a different way to understand death. Like I know it's very strange because when I was a kid, I told you I lost a sister, and I was only 3 at the time, but it affected my mother to, of course, a great deal. And at the time there was no counseling back in the 50s when someone died. I mean, it was not normal to family counseling. It would have helped a great deal, but we didn't have that. So I saw death differently because I was only 3 and I was like, "Oh, she's happy now because she's not hurting." But I was only 3, so I didn't have the same understanding that my older sister had or my parents. Then fast forward when my dad passed, um, I knew I had to do a really funny eulogy for him at the funeral home because that's what my father wanted. He wanted people to laugh and know him with joy. So I wrote I was told 4 days before he passed, the angels told me he was gonna go on a certain day, and I knew it was gonna happen, so I wrote the eulogy, and I told my sister, "We gotta write something." And I had everybody laughing in the funeral home, which was not normal, but I'm like, "This is what dad would have wanted." He had an incredible sense of humor. He loved when people gathered and laughed, and I always remembered when my father went to a funeral, he'd go, "Life is for the living. We love our dead, but life is for the living. You have to go on." So that was in my mind as I'm, channeling the stories about his family and the crazy things his brothers did and I know he was happy because I dreamt of him a year after. Dad would come up and give me messages from the other side. He'd show me things and tell me things to tell my mother, and yeah, so and I'm not a
Yeah.
medium, but I was very close to dad, so he was able to show me. I even was able to see the orientation on the other side with the
Wow.
tunnel and the table with the yeah, it's cool.
It's interesting because uh, my dad is also no more. I mean, in his body, he's
Oh,
freed from this world.
oh, sorry. Yeah.
So, but I have felt his presence, and he would talk to me like in my
Mhm.
dreams,
Yes.
and
Yes.
in my most low state, like when I'm very, very hopeless, or I'm very sad. Uh,
Mhm.
I have seen him in my dream. He is
Yes.
sitting next to me, and I have totally felt his touch. I mean,
Oh,
that
I
was just
know.
amazing.
I
Just
know,
and
I've done that.
everything, just all of my sadness, my
Yes,
suffering, my everything
yes.
was just gone like
I've
magic,
I've had that happen too.
My
My
God.
father used to hug me, like, and I've had dreams where he's hugged me, and it felt so real, like he was right there with me. So I know it was a dream visit, not just my mind making up a dream. It was totally different. The feeling of it was different, and it would be mind to mind communication. It was just totally different. And he would tell me things and show me things, and it was such a gift, to be able to do that. My mom, I'd seen her a few times in dreams, but it was mostly my father. A whole year after, even the day after his wake, he would tell me things he wanted or didn't want or that he liked. I mean, it was incredible.
Yeah, I think I'm so grateful that I still can talk to him in my dreams. I can still feel his touch,
Yes,
and he's my healer.
yes, that is such a joy. It's such a joy. And I've had other relatives too, like when they pass, they'll give me a quick message for a family member. So I've had that happen in the past as well. And that's something that like I don't do for my business or anything. It's just something that happens when it happens. And
Yeah.
it's always a gift when I'm able to connect with someone.
Wow,
So,
it's so amazing. I never knew that we are going to talk about all these things.
you just never know, right?
That's
Oh,
right. That's right.
yeah.
Uh, how did this writing of book happen? Like,
So,
were you called to, or you? How
yes.
did I'm interested?
So probably when I was 11. So I had a sixth grade teacher who loved my writing, and I wrote a poem. I think I was 11, and it was like something like the source of life, the burning light that glows in the heart of men. For one person, the light slowly fades, but the light is never lost, and something like that. So she called she called my mother, and she thought my mother wrote the poem. And my mother had no idea. She goes, "Well, my daughter asked me how to spell luminous and soul." She said, "But I didn't help her, so the lady realized that I can write." So I used to do a lot of creative writing when I was in sixth grade. And then one of her friends who was an author in New York visited. Her name was Jean Merrill. And Jean Merrill wrote a book called The Pushcart War. So Jean liked me and saw my poems. And then we were pen pals for like a year and a half, 2 years. So the writing bug bit me really young, but I never really did anything officially with it till I left teaching because I was so busy, planning for kids and teaching that I didn't do a lot of writing for myself. So the minute I stopped teaching, I had to start writing. And that's when I created Time Wheel, which is a series for 11 to 14-year-olds. The first one won a literary award for excellence for chapter books for kids. It's called the Time Wheel. And the idea is the main character is a boy who hates school, doesn't like reading, and he's good at math. And he and his father dies. He moves into this old antique store, and he discovers this prayer wheel, and the prayer wheel brings him back in time and actually adjusts karma. But I explain what that is in the story. But he thinks that like he gets to see his deceased father in the between plays, and he goes back in time and is able to help some of his friends. And so I developed this story. It's three. I have three of them published now. There's a fourth one I haven't published yet, but there's three of them in the series. And I like to bring in that each character changes. So when he's not confident in the beginning, he begins to develop confidence. He begins to grow as a person. He begins to learn social skills, and he realizes he's not a dumb kid. He's pretty smart. He just has trouble with spelling, So I try to bring in that. And of course, I love to make fun at teachers, because I was one. So I'm like, it's like, why do we have to, look up all these silly words in the book? What's comprehension? You're killing the fun. So I poke fun at some of the teachers. I have a crazy one from the 60s with wild white hair. And I have a crazy math teacher that went to clown college in the 70s, and he likes to tell jokes and bump into stuff. And all the characters are actually based on people that I know or that I've had experience with in my life, including the main character who reminded me of the characteristics of my son when I raised him. So,
That's really cool. So
yeah,
it's based on your real
yeah,
experiences, real life
yes,
experiences.
yes. And then I brought in a lot about culture. So, like when he travels in time, if he goes to, let's say, Tibet, I'll have a section in the back of the book where you can look up about Tibet or
Wow.
India, with the prayer wheel. The weird thing that I want to tell you, Mamina, is when I'm writing this story, I'm ready to publish, I go to a spiritual event and I look, and there's a guy who's a Buddhist sitting at a table. And what does he sell? But a prayer wheel that exactly matches what I have in my story. It even had a scroll inside of it with a prayer. And I looked at him, I said, "Oh my gosh, I need this." And he goes, "Oh, you know about the prayer wheel?" So I bought it. And I had other weird things like I was working at a park one summer, and two of the characters I had in my original manuscript had these very ethnic names. I think one was Oh, Yes, She. Yes, She was one of the names. Yes, She, and there was another name, Tamara and Yes, She or something. They were very ethnic names that I'd looked up. So I was at the park, and a person rented a cabin. And don't you know, one person was Yes, She, and the other one was Tenzin. That was the other name. Yes, She and Tenzin. And they rented a cabin. Those were the exact names I had in my book. So to me, law of attraction was saying, this is the book you're publishing next. But just weird, weird coincidences that happened when I was
Wow.
writing it.
That's amazing. I think I have just published my first book.
Oh,
It's about
good.
me and my son. It's a real life
Oh,
experience.
nice, nice.
I was planning to have this book published on my son's birthday
Okay.
uh, in December. I was also planning to publish this book on November 14th. It's the Children's Day we celebrate in India.
Mm-hmm.
So that didn't happen. December 20 didn't happen. It happened on the day that my father left his body.
I was just going to tell you that it probably happened when your father passed because he was helping.
Oh my God. The publisher sends me this picture. Your book is live today. I'm like, what?
Oh,
And
that's
I checked the
beautiful.
date in the calendar. I'm like, wow. I mean,
That's
this was
beautiful.
planned. This
Yes,
was planned.
I love that. What's the name of your book?
All is well.
All is well. Love that. I'll have to look that up. Yes, that's great. Yeah.
And I had a different name for this book already.
Okay.
And I had a different cover for this book already. And I already published in Facebook that this is the cover, this is this.
Oh,
That was my son's art when he did. He was 6.5 years. And I see a different name in my dream. I see different colors in my dream. I am like, I talked to my son because I already told him that this is going to be the
yes,
cover. But
yes,
then I again told him that, well, I see
yes.
something in my dream. Things are
Have
going
to
to
follow
change.
it. How old is your son now? How old is your son?
Now he's 19.
Okay. Okay, that's
Yeah.
so cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
He was like, he took it really nicely. He said, whatever, that's
Yes,
fine.
yes.
That's fine.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, I'm working on another one I'm soon to publish. It's going to be called Child of Lights, and
Oh,
it's going to
okay.
be a series, a saga, Child of Lights, Maiden of Lights, and then there's a third one. But it's about a child who she's born and she's in. There's two villages and they're vastly different, and one village culls the sick and young children to the woods, thinking they're going to be eaten by a dragon, and the other village loves kids. And so this mother and father who have this kid in this bad village leave like through the night to get to the other place because they're trying to save their child. But this child winds up having a mission to go back to her birthplace and change the village and get rid of this old proclamation that the village has lived by for 400 years. It's a fantasy, so I have
Yeah.
fantasy elements in it and a lot of like like the goddess moon and the very female kind of stuff that is not my faith, but it's like it's so cool, like she's praying to the goddess moon and the goddess Selene is in the story and dragons and just like interesting connections. So yeah, I'm having fun with that one. So that one's almost
Yeah.
ready to go.
Wow, that's cool, and congratulations.
Thank you. And then of course, my three spiritual books. So I have two workbooks and then
Okay.
one about my mission. But my workbooks are where people could like read a little blurb and then write in it. So I have Inspired by Angels, a book from the heart, Divine Messengers, and the other one is called Wisdom, Sages, and Angels. So those are all on Amazon and they're all on my website.
I will definitely check them out.
Yeah. And I
Well,
also,
you
yeah.
you are a book to me. It's nice to hear from.
How many pages and more chapters to go, hopefully. Yeah, so if anyone is interested and they, want a free discovery session, you can contact me at info@rosemaryd.com. And you can ask me about anything on my website or just chat and get to know who I am. And I have also some free giveaways on my website too. If people go there, there's a page called Grateful Giveaways, and I have 2 chapters of Divine Messengers on there, and I think I have a video or 2 and a free course called Dip Your Toe In. So
Oh,
they can
cool.
explore. They can explore.
Yeah, yeah. Please do explore. You must listen to this conversation. This is something mystical, huh?
Yeah.
And then there is childhood. There is a vision. There's a mission,
Mhm.
and then she is living her childhood. It's manifested. It's all about
Yeah.
her dreams, following her dreams. I mean, this is just amazing. Just
Thank
amazing.
you. Thank you. You are such a joy and a pleasure to talk to too. So I'm so thrilled that you had me on today too.
Same here. And wow, I can never imagine that we talked about these things. I totally.
I must have been saving up my words for like a couple days now. But I have a lot of words.
It was wonderful talking to you. And yeah, hopefully we'll meet up again.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yes, and you'll send
I
me
will have
this.
to talk to you about my dream.
I
I
would
will have
love
to
to
talk to
hear
you.
it. Maybe after the podcast, stay on and you can ask me.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yes, I will do that because I really didn't understand. Really, is this coming up in my life? What's going on? Like, I was
Okay.
all day, I have been thinking about, like, okay, what's coming up now? Where, what should I do? Where should I go?
Right. That's great.
Okay, so if you want to share any message for our audience for today, and then we'll end after that.
Yes. Okay, so the main message that I would tell you that the angels want me to impart is that walk through your life authentically and have no judgments about other people. Just kind of let people be who they are. Let people walk in their own path and be a guide or help when you need to be, but don't judge who they are or what their journey is because you don't know the fullness of what their soul is trying to teach them or teach you. So just allow that information to be there and don't judge. Send light to each other and always offer a hand in compassion and help. Okay, you're silent. There you go. I can't hear you right now. You're
Muted.
still
Okay.
muted. Yes. So this is to you and to all the listeners today. And then I'll get this link somehow so I could rewatch it or put it on my website.
Yes, absolutely.
Love that.
I will share the link with you,
Okay.
and hopefully we will meet again. And I wish
Yes.
you all the very best for everything in your life,
Thank you.
and be the light.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.